Episode 38. J Gerda, and a German climate envoy who is US-born and a former head of Greenpeace. Gerda noted that Germany remains committed to phasing out coal as a source of power by 2030 even as it reactivates coal-fired power plants, the country's climate envoy said. Germany says it took the step to get through the coming winter amid energy shortages as a result of Russia's war in Ukraine. The German climate envoy spoke about the German mission to the United Nations on September 19, 2022, in New York. Morgan said the country remains committed to phasing out coal as a source of power by 2030 even as it reactivates coal-fired power plants to get through this coming winter amid energy shortages as a result of Russia's war in Ukraine. We are at a crossroads right now, she said, adding that the war in Ukraine shows how interlinked energy security and independence are with climate security and peace. The US-born former international head of Greenpeace stepped into the role of Germany's special envoy for international climate action in March. Now a German citizen, she is also state secretary. 10 months ago, in her role at Greenpeace, she chastised world leaders for being weak on phasing down coal rather than phasing it out altogether. More circumspect as a government official, she now says the dirty fuel is bitter medicine that her country is forced to take this winter, echoing the sentiment of the country's Green Party. We are in the middle of a Russian war of aggression, she said. We need to assure that our citizens have enough heat for the winter. She said the decision to burn more coal is a hard pill to swallow. She did, however, emphasize that the war in Ukraine has made it ever more clear why we have to phase out fossil fuels. European Union countries are spending billions this year on fossil fuel subsidies to offset high prices. The bloc has drawn fierce criticism for including natural gas, a fossil fuel, and nuclear power in a list of sustainable activities. The bloc also signed a deal this year with Egypt and Israel to help with new gas exploration. Morgan said Germany's first priority remains renewable energy and energy efficiency, with a target to reach carbon neutrality by 2045. The second priority, she said, is replacing Russian gas, oil, and coal. In a signal of its intention to do this, Berlin announced last week that it seized Russian state-controlled company Rosneft's stakes in refineries in Germany under a law allowing the seizure of assets deemed key to national energy supply that are owned by potentially hostile foreign entities, according to risk consultancy Eurasia Group. Germany had previously seized assets of Russian state-controlled gas firm Gazprom, which has disrupted natural gas deliveries to Germany due to what it says are technical problems, an explanation German officials reject as political maneuvering. Historically, the United States, China, and the European Union, of which Germany is a weighty member, have emitted 53% of the carbon dioxide in the air since 1959. In contrast, all of Africa and South America have each emitted just 3% of CO2 in the atmosphere over the same period of time. Recent devastating flooding in Pakistan and drought in the Horn of Africa, including looming famine in Somalia, have been blamed in part on climate change. As International Executive Director of Greenpeace, the current German climate envoy had called on holding major greenhouse gas-emitting nations to account, and compelling them to foot the bill for the energy transition under the polluter pays principle. In her new role as Germany's climate envoy, she said the country has been listening to the most vulnerable countries and supports climate financing to assist communities around the world that are grappling with the effects of climate change. The world is literally on fire, she said. We need to take this very seriously. Mary noted that the focus of Residents Against Wood Smoke Emission Particulates, ROSEP, is on the health effects to near neighbors of living next to residential wood burning, in those hyper-localized areas where the source of particulate pollution, PM2.5, is concentrated. PM2.5, particulate matter of 2.5 micrometer size, is the perfect size to infiltrate the human lung, causing a cascade of human health problems. Wood smoke consists of 90% PM2.5. Residential PM2.5 monitors can be purchased by neighbors from Purple Air for less than $300, and their locations are put on the online Purple Air map, along with data uploaded every 10 minutes, available to the general public, and of course, to governmental authorities. Neighbors of residential wood burners would like their Purple Air PM2.5 monitor data to be used to regulate and shut down residential wood burning detected at neighbors' fence lines that exceeds the World Health Organization (WHO) standards of 5 micrograms per meter cubed or future U.S. standards of 8 micrograms per meter cubed. There could even be court-ordered monitoring using a neighbor-owned Purple Air PM2.5 monitor as a breathalyzer, similar to car breathalyzers court-ordered for repeat drunk drivers, to turn off the ignition of a neighboring indoor wood stove when levels of PM2.5 in a near neighbor's yard is exceeded. In this way, governmental authorities would not have to check the make and model of an appliance and would not have to rely on unreliable certification and other worthless assurances of levels of wood stove particulate emissions by the company that manufactured it. Purple Air monitors also provide data every 10 minutes 24 hours a day, and data can be downloaded from the map by governmental authorities the day after the PM2.5 levels are exceeded, during normal government working hours. Purple Air PM2.5 monitors are so reliable and accurate they are put on U.S. Air Now smoke and fire maps alongside $100,000 Environmental Protection Agency (EPA) monitors, correlated to the EPA monitors with a simple mathematical formula. But to publicize this, it is necessary to point out that living hyperlocalized next to a residential wood burner is essentially the same as living hyperlocalized next to any kind of PM2.5 emitting wood burning appliance, next to a PM2.5 emitting wood burning wildfire, or next to a PM2.5 emitting industrial biomass wood burning facility.